Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about a discussion, a topic that I want your insight on. Looking at the investment world from an outsider standpoint and in a very interesting sort of light. This is more of a satirical, sarcastic article. They make some good points, but you can also see the other side of it from non-investors or people who are more into, the stocks, stuff that isn't really the platform or the direction that precious metals goes. And you see a lot of people say, silver is a bad investment, etc. Silver is worse than money, just completely, oblivious to hyperinflation or the benefits of precious metals. And I'm going to show you this video real quick on this site where this lady's interviewing this guy talking about silver shortage, some of the reasons why, and I want you to watch this real quick and then we'll go into the actual article. So here we go.
Switching gears now, need to talk to you about silver. Had a lot of people stopping by saying, Aaron said that he could see silver going to $10 an ounce.
Easily. Why not? Because look at so many of the... What if silver transforms? I'm not saying... you have to question yourself. What if silver now becomes more of an industrial metal? You look at solar, and the millennials aren't buying, and, we talked about it on stage. Silver is money, but you look at it, it's the currency of gentlemen. And perhaps there's fewer gentlemen in the world today. Gold's the currency of kings, but I just look at it and going, you know what? You look at so many of these producers, take Pan American Silver, their cost is so low because they get a lot of gold also in their production. So just because a lot of the mid-tier producers need $13, $14 to break even, that's irrelevant to where the price could go.
And what about on the supply front? Because I had David Morgan, Keith Neumeyer here, both arguing complete different spectrums on the debate here. What are you hearing?
Both are my friends, and I respect both guys. David Morgan's been 40 years in silver, but there's no shortage. Okay, that's the reality of this market. If there is, you'll just pay more. Yeah, so I just think, and we haven't even seen, you go to areas like what Norlist has been doing. There's all these new emerging markets that haven't had the...
Okay, well anyways, sorry that it was a little bit laggy. There's a lot of ads and stuff on this video and it kind of makes it laggy, especially when I'm doing a screen recorder. Hope you guys can get the gist of that though. He's basically saying that millennials aren't going to buy silver. Silver is more for gentlemen and gold is more royal for kings, which I've talked about before, but I don't think they're looking at it from the full spectrum. When he's saying there's no silver shortage where the premiums spot price will just go up, that does make sense, but when he's talking about the industrial use, I don't think he's really realizing the full potential that silver has, whether it's the gold to silver ratio, whether it's the intrinsic value considering hyperinflation due to the dollar lowering or collapsing, whether it's the economic factors, whether it even is supply versus demand, which I've made videos in the past, or how a lot of silver isn't being recovered at the rate that gold is. So it was just interesting to see him, someone who is into silver, but he's more from a business standpoint. We're more from a consumer customer standpoint. As silver enthusiasts, they're more from the political standpoints, behind the scenes in the markets. So I mean, I can see the direction he's going, but it was just very interesting to see that, to watch that video. I'm curious what you guys think of that, but we can go into this article, which is even more interesting than that. So it's talking about what does silver investing mean. Investing in silver means putting your money into the production, trading, or outright ownership of the silver metal. For most investors, it means buying quantities of bullion in coin or bar form and holding on to it. While silver is technically a commodity, like any other precious metals are somewhat different as an asset class. Unlike crude oil, corn or lumber, the value of silver isn't limited to the consumption uses. In fact, silver does have a non-trivial industrial application. Most of its value comes from its status as an investment vehicle, which is true, which is why I say Silver, you can't say money's better than silver or silver's worse than money, because silver is money. You know, it's traded as a value, as an asset, not more of, you know, trying to not spending money to buy silver, but you're basically trading a fiat currency value form of a tradable asset to something with another value, is all which is also money. You know, they're both money technically in my eyes. Just because how you can trade it, silver's been traded for, you know, as a currency for thousands of years, you know, longer than fiat currency's been around. But you know, they're saying like gold, the price of silver is chiefly driven by market demand, since silver is used relatively rarely compared to the industrial metal. It does not have production consumption cycles of most commodities like crude oil, etc. Instead, its value is chiefly driven by their long-term investors or those seeking to ride out a down market. You know, the day traders, or, you know, people who try to catch that quick flip. You know, there's quick flippers, there's long-term stackers. Often this means that silver, again like gold, tends to perform on counter uh cyclically on the stock market, or cycling. But anyways, this is the interesting part. Silver's not better than money. It is, however, at this point we should note the enormous volume of bad reporting on the subject of precious metal investment, which is true. I see it on my comments, I see it in articles where people kind of steer away from precious metals, but they'll put all their money into, you know, stocks and all that, which is interesting to, you know, I really don't understand that. A lot of people try to you know, they listen to what other people tell them easily, you know, people that are easily overridden, or misinformed, or have their own biased opinions, you know, whether it's from news articles, news outlets, friends, family. But they're saying silver has a limited inherent value, while unlike fiat currency, its supply is limited. Like a fiat currency, it is real money only to the extent that other parties are willing to accept it in trade, which is true. You know, fiat is, which I always say, you know, definitely, you definitely want to have fiat. That's the most liquid form of currency you can have. You know, if you put all your money into silver and you have no fiat, if there's an emergency that comes up, you're definitely going to be in a sticky situation. You know, you definitely want to have money to be able to pay your bills, to be able to buy food. You can't always not, you know, unless you're spending it for face value, you can't take silver, whether it's, even if it's constitutional silver, to pay or purchase for gas, you know, your living, you know, food, water, shelter. So you definitely still want to have fiat, which is the most liquid asset. But silver, like it says in the article, is more for long term, more for storage, you know, wealth preservation. Investors who believe in the real money theory of silver should try paying their bills, which I just mentioned actually, and see exactly how far that will get them. Others should consider the asset's high, sometimes enormous volatility index compared to that of the dollar. So fiat currency has structural value because it ties to the national economy and its role in tax collection. Silver does not. Its value is driven almost entirely by the supply and demand, with some influence from industrial applications, which I think honestly is a lot higher than they give, you know, credit to in this article. That does not make it a poor choice of investment, but it does mean the value depends entirely on what someone else is willing to give you for it. But see, what's interesting is this guy in the video just mentioned that he doesn't think that the industrial use or low supply has any effect on the markets, or if it did, it would shoot the price up. But I think we're already seeing that with the amount of benefits silver has in the industrial world. You know, that's what's making the supply, which would, you know, in theory, cause the premiums or the spot price to go up, whether you know, the miner fees are higher, whether whether miners aren't taking it out the ground, you know, digging it up at the rate that they usually do, because the supply and demand isn't there, which is direct proof of why spot price would go up if there is a shortage, or if there isn't the demand with the supply. You know, so they're saying just like currency, stocks, and pretty much every other form of investment of the market. Why invest in silver? Compared with gold, silver is generally cheaper. An investor can buy silver for less money, making a potentially popular choice for lower capitalization investors, which is true. But, you know, gold is more for, you can store high amounts of wealth in a small you know, area. You know, usually you can fit thousands upon thousands of dollars in a small safe or a shoebox. Of gold, silver, you need a lot more storage space. but you know, it still has a lot. Silver has a lot more potential, but they're saying compared with stocks or paper investments, however, silver is generally seen as a safe haven for investing during market instability. Despite its volatility, investors will often move their money into precious metals at the beginning of a downturn, which we definitely do see. We actually saw silver hit around $14.80 yesterday, a couple days ago. I think it's back above $15 right now, but finally, silver is seen as a more liquid, safe investment than other non-market options like government bonds, which is definitely true. While high volatility of silver can make selling more difficult, as you may have to wait for your price you want, it's easier in the end position of a treasury bond and often better, still relatively low return, which is also true. I agree with that. With silver, even if it's not as liquid as other options like government bonds, ETFs, whatever the case is, you're not buying it for the quick flip. If you need money, emergency money or money that for that, then there's other investments or other assets you can invest into. I think that precious metals are more of a long-term wealth preservation vehicle to put your money in to protect it from hyperinflation. It's not about the quick flip. This article, I think, has more of a short-term mind state behind it, not looking at the bigger picture. So they're saying, how can you invest in silver? I'm not going to go over that, but I'll read some of these. You know, there's silver futures and options. Most common way to invest in commodities is future and option contracts allow you to invest into the movement of the silver market. Your profit here comes not from the market value of silver, but from how the value changes. So there's, you know, that's one way to go. It's really interesting. It's more kind of like options, if you guys are aware of option markets and stocks. Silver ETF is built to track the market price of silver metal, often built around a specific quantity of silver. You know, this is considered generally one of the best ways to own and trade silver with high liquidity without logistical challenges of owning the physical asset, which could be benefits compared to us who actually own the precious metals, you know, the physical bullion. But I still think that it's smarter to own it. You know, if you don't own it, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. You know, that's the famous saying, which is true in my opinion. There's also silver production in stocks and funds. But you know, I'm not going to go over this too much. But should you invest in silver? Silver can be a strong addition to any portfolio, but only measured in quantities. So, as a stabilizing asset, silver, like gold, you can give your portfolio a steady, diversified return compared to traditional stocks and mutual funds. In particular, they can do so retaining much higher liquidity than other forms of safe investments, as noted above. So, like most diversified assets, silver has its role in a good portfolio in moderation. So, it's a very interesting article. They made some weird points. I'm not too sure I agree with the video completely, but it does make some points. You know, it is true. You have to look at it realistically, take the bias out, take the emotional attachment out. You know, I've been stacking silver for years, so I do have a love for it, but I still try to look at it realistically as someone who isn't in the market or someone who isn't, you know, one that actually cares about silver or as a collection or a hobby, because when you have the emotional attachment and you have very biased opinions, you can think very irrationally, and it's really hard because you have emotional attachment, so you're not gonna, you're a little more close-minded looking at certain factors or things or roles that play in the direction of the spot price or of the market. So I try to look at it very rationally. That's also why I like making these videos, because you guys can also look at different angles and bring up different points that maybe I didn't cover as well. So if you do, make sure to comment down below. Everyone has their own opinion. Like I said, I just try to share information, share my opinion. Not, I'm not saying I'm always right. A lot of you guys know a lot more than me, but I try to bring a platform for us to discuss it in. Comment on my videos, for all of us to discuss, respectfully. There's always those people out there that have to leave, have to share their 2 cents on whatever. But, I just try to bring, positive platform to share, something that can be very beneficial to everyone, and a preservation or a gateway to protect yourself from hyperinflation as the dollar weakens or as the economy does. So anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys soon. Peace.